At CBF, we know that for you to change your body, you need to change your mind. Exercise and eating healthy is only part of the plan. We care about our members as we care about our family, because our members become our family. It is not about competition, but support. It is not about being the strongest or the fastest, but about you defeating your negative self. It is about working together and making the task challenging and have fun. By the end, what matters is not how hard the session was, but that you take control of your mind so you can take control of your body. My name is Sandro Torres, and I'm happy you are part of our family. Welcome to Custom Body Fitness. Welcome to another video of Custom Body Fitness. Today we're going to talk about eating schedule and weight loss. There is a lot of misconception about this, and there is a lot of beliefs and a lot of lies and things that need to be clear. And there is the myths sometimes come, there is something true about it. So we're going to touch what's true about it, and we're going to touch what's a lie, and how can you improve it if, of course, your goal is to lose weight. So a lot of people, when they come and they sign up with me and they're overweight, some of them, I should say, they tell me like, I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I don't eat and I still gain weight. That's actually that there is something true about that, and there is some lie about that. Let's talk about all the points. So first of all, the person believes that doesn't eat because he's not eating all day. But when it sits and eats a lot of calories, and not only eats a lot of calories, it eats the wrong food. So his brain is telling the person that he or she is not eating during the day. But when it sits, once again, it's eating a lot of the wrong foods. So the reality is they're eating more than he or she is thinking that she or he is eating. So he's lying to himself, but it's not something that person wants to. It's to the subconscious level. So somebody needs to point it out. So let's put a little bit of logic on there. If you, let's say, an overweight person, we take that person to an island, and there is no food, absolutely no food. We just drop the person, there is no food. The person has absolutely nothing to eat. What do you think is going to happen? You think that person is going to gain weight? You probably have the answer, right? Absolutely, it's not going to gain weight. And the reason why is because there is no calories that the person can put in his or her body. And therefore, every day that person is going to lose weight. So why people in the US, they claim they don't need to gain weight? Once again, it's because there is an abundance of food in the US. And the problem is that the abundance of food is not good food. It's processed food. And also there is abundance of work and a busy life in the US. And there is, of course, in many other countries, but right now we're going to talk about this area in specific. And they wonder why they can't lose weight, because they stay busy all day, and then they forget about eating. They don't care about eating because they want to work or they want to do whatever they're doing. All of a sudden, there is a mechanism in the body that tells us that we're hungry. All of a sudden, they get hungry. And they see and they order the wrong food, or they go for processed food, packaged processed food, and they start overeating. It happens to me. It happens to a lot of our members. Think about it, and probably it happens to you. If you haven't eaten all day, and all of a sudden you come home all tired from work or whatever you're doing, and then you sit and you remember, oh, I haven't eaten all day. I'm so hungry. Don't tell me you have the patience to go to the kitchen and prepare something to eat with all the time of the world and choosing the right foods, because that's not true. What you're probably eating is going to the fridge and getting to the counter and just choose everything that is already made and it comes in a package and you eat a lot of it. Even it's cereals, it's pastries, it's bread, it's frozen foods, or whatever it is, you just wrap because you're hungry at the moment. All you want to do is eat. So that's what happened. So in reality, it's not the people who don't eat, they gain weight. It's they don't eat during the day, but when they see, they eat a lot and they eat the wrong food. So that's the first thing that we need to get out of the myth. The second thing is about fasting. Of course, if you fast, you're gonna lose weight. But let's talk about mind control, and that's the problem with a lot of people. They don't have they don't have control over the pain, the discomfort, the feeling in exercising, about the discomfort about not having an AC turned on in the car when it's hot, or not having the heat turned on when it's cold. They can't get out of the car without a jacket, and I'm not saying that you should get out of the car with a jacket, and I'm not saying you should not turn your AC on. What I'm saying is people right now, they're so comfortable about things that a little bit of discomfort is too much for them. So think about it. If you're fasting and you feel a little bit of discomfort and you tell your brain, I'm just going to be fasting for a week, I'm going to be fasting for 2 days, I'm going to be fasting for a month, or whatever you're planning to fast for, what you're doing, you're getting out of your comfort zone. And now, a lot of people say that fasting works about weight loss. And fasting is very good for a lot of things, to clear up your mind, to challenge your body, to control the animal side of you, and a lot of things. But right now we're talking about weight loss. For weight loss, fasting works. It works only when you change your eating habits. If you start fasting for 2 days and eat the right foods, of course you're going to lose weight. And the reason why you're going to lose weight is not because you're fasting. It's because you're eating the right food. But if you fast for only 1 week or 2 weeks and you lose a couple pounds and then you go back to the same, then you're going to regain the weight again. So remember, it's not about the time that you not eat. It's about the foods that you end up eating. So once again, if I put you on an island, there is no food, of course you're going to lose weight. So that leads me to another point, that is genetic. If you study genes, which I did at one point, and I love the concept and I love how it works, you understand that genes are manipulative. You can manipulate them. And if you become better, the next offspring is going to become better. And next offspring is going to become better. If you become worse, the next offspring is going to become worse, worse, and worse. So let me give you an example. People who eat horribly and they don't exercise, first of all, they have the wrong high sugars in their body, and their insulin levels are very low. That's what happens when they develop diabetes. Now, if this couple, let's say, have that lifestyle and they get together and they have a baby, the baby born with a predisposition. That means because the parents are eating horribly and they're not exercising, the kid, their genes are turned on the same way that the parents, because they're already passing those genes. The infant, it's already with the genes of eating horribly. They have turned on to have high sugars and to have no insulin. So the chances are that this little baby is gonna be pre-diabetic. Now, compare with another person that born with from a healthy couple, this kid, it's gonna be more sustainable to be to develop diabetic because it's already there. It's very close to it than the other person. The other person still have years for that. The let's say the fit baby. It's gonna take years for that person to develop diabetic if he decides to start eating horribly and not exercise, compared with the other one that is already there. But that doesn't mean that that pre-diabetic baby can change the gene to become better. If he decides to exercise and start eating healthy, those genes never gonna turn on. It's gonna be easier, yes. If he decides to stop exercising and eating healthy, it's gonna take a couple months for him to be pre-diabetic again. But if he decides not to practice those habits, he's not gonna be diabetic and even pre-diabetic. And the next offspring that it borns, now it's gonna improve the genes that it wasn't improved thanks to the parents of the first baby. Hopefully you're following me. But let's say that the pre-diabetic baby decides not to do that and then it has a baby, the other baby is going to be worse. It's going to live even less and it probably is going to born diabetic. And the change continue. So the same happens with overweight. If your parents were fat and you decide not to exercise and not eat healthy, you start messing up your genes. Your parents did give you good genes, but that doesn't mean that those genes stay there. Now you're messing up the genes. And now the next baby that you're having, maybe you're not gonna be diabetic. But the next baby that you're having, it has a higher potential to be diabetic. So if you decide not to eat healthy and exercise and you gain weight, now the other baby, the baby that you're having, it's gonna be easier for that baby to gain weight. And if that new baby that decides not to exercise and eat healthy and it gains weight and decides to have a baby, the other baby is gonna be overweight when it borns and continues until somebody else breaks the chain. So if you parents mess up, because all of our parents mess up, and there is absolutely nothing against parents, no parents come with an instruction book and say, this is how you're supposed to raise your baby. We all have our difficulties. We're not perfect. We're trying to do our best to raise our kids. We're trying to give them the best. We make mistakes. And we have all traumas to work for. And we have a lot of things going on. So I'm not saying this to make the parents feel bad. I'm saying this because that's a reality. That's what happens. My parents mess up. They mess up a lot with me. And I'm doing my best to become a better person. And then if I decide to have a baby, hopefully I can do my best to grow that child, even though I know I'm going to make mistakes. So if your parents mess up and you are overweight, don't blame it on your genes. Yes, your genes, you might be predisposed to gain a lot more weight than another person who the parents exercise. Yes, but that doesn't mean, it's not about comparing yourself about the other person because the other person can eat more and doesn't gain weight. Okay, forget about that person. You focus on yourself and you see what works for you and start eating healthy and exercising. Don't give up and don't say this is because it's genetic, because that's not true. If I put you, once again, if I put you in an island, but there is no food, doesn't matter. If you are overweight, you are gonna lose weight. If I keep you there for 2 months, 3 months, because there is absolutely nothing to eat, there is no calories that you're gonna put into your body. Now, yes, you may eat different foods, you may eat less less portions, and you should be very careful, a lot more careful than the other person, whatever, but there is a choice for you. So don't just give up. So why I'm telling you about fasting, about people saying that they don't eat and they gain weight, about genetics, because if you eat on a schedule, you avoid a lot of these things. You help your body to remember when to eat, and what to eat. And the chances of you overeating and eating the wrong foods, it's less than not eating on the schedule, because you are gonna be hungry. Your body's gonna require energy. Your body at one point is gonna tell you, I'm hungry. And if you're not prepared with the right foods, if you're not prepared in the right time, you're gonna eat the wrong foods, and you are going to eat a lot more than you're supposed to. So, one more point. This, it's a small percentage of the whole equation about losing weight when eating the schedule, but it does contribute a little bit. When you eat small portions, your body is burning calories to digest the food that you're eating. So, for example, if you eat 5 times a day, you're eating 5 times those calories. They're not sitting once and eat a lot of food, you burn less calories. So it's important that you divide your foods, because it does contribute to with the weight loss. Now let's talk about the eating schedule. Some of our members asked me if they should eat breakfast before or after exercising when they exercise in the morning. I'm going to tell you my thoughts, my research, and what I find out. Of course, personally, I like to eat when my day starts. So before anything, I eat. After my meditation, I should say. I meditate first, then I eat. So I eat before I exercise. Sometimes I exercise in the morning, I eat my breakfast, and I go straight to exercise. Sometimes I eat my lunch or whatever, and then I exercise, and I don't feel stomach sick. Some people do. So personally, I recommend people to eat before exercising. However, there's people don't like to eat before exercising. They don't like to eat breakfast before. They like to eat after. And some of our members do eat after the exercise, and they still get results. So I think eating before or eating your breakfast before or after the exercise doesn't really matter. As long as you eating your breakfast, you're still gonna get results. So let's talk about your eating schedule. There is many choices. Choose the best that fits your lifestyle. Now, the reason, let's emphasize this so it's clear. The reason why you eating on a schedule is because you don't want to overeat, and you don't want to eat the wrong foods. When you eat on a schedule, it's very difficult for you to overeat, because you're not going to be super hungry. You're going to be hungry enough to eat while you prepare yourself. And this you have to be aware of. You need to eat the right foods. Don't eat junk foods, because even though if you eat on the schedule and you eat junk foods, you're going to overeat, because junk food have chemicals such as high fructose corn syrup that triggers hunger. Even though you fall, you still feel like you need to eat. So please, if you want to get results in the weight loss, you must choose the right foods. And I have other videos. I'm going to put a couple here that talks about what are processed foods, what you should get rid of, completely get rid of. And I'm just going to give you a summary right here. The only thing that you should be eating is fresh foods, whole foods, grains, meats, nothing packaged, already made with preservatives, because that contributes to weight gain. The same thing with alcohol, the same thing with soda, or any energy drink that has sugar added. I recommend you only drink water. So let's begin with the eating schedule. First, you want to eat your breakfast, like we already talked, either just when you wake up, within an hour that you wake up, or after you exercise. So once you eat your breakfast, within 3 hours, you want to eat a fruit. If you're a person who has a high metabolism and has good muscles, eat 2 fruits, eat 3 fruits. Then within 2 hours, you want to eat your lunch. Then after your lunch, 3 hours, 4 hours, you want to eat another fruit or 2 fruits or 3 fruits, depending on the body type or how hungry you are. And then lastly, 3 hours after, you can eat your dinner. Now, some people say if you eat late, you gain weight. That's a myth. You can eat between 5 and 9, even 12 p.m. you can eat. I recommend people to eat between 5 and 9 because they want to go to sleep with the stomach that is not completely full. The myth of eating late becomes when people say that they gain weight when they're eating late, but the reality is not the food that the eating late there contributes to weight gain. Is the type of food that you eat at night. If you're sitting in front of the television, eating it, snacks, processed food, chips, and so on, of course, you're gonna gain weight. Drinking your soda, your beers, and so on, you are going to gain weight. So it's not that you're eating late, it's the type of food that you're eating at night. So there you have the eating schedule. Now, that's the first one. You cannot eat the fruits if you don't feel like it, but make sure you eat your breakfast in the morning, your lunch in the afternoon, and your in the noon, and then your dinner in the evening. But make sure you eat normal portions. That's why the fruits are so important in the middle, because that way you can serve yourself enough food. But if you feel like it, if you don't feel like eating those fruits between, so that's fine. Only eat your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. You can also eat your breakfast, your lunch, your fruits, and your dinner. You can also eat your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and then if you go to bed late, then you eat your fruit. Okay? So that's an eating schedule, and now you have an idea why it's so important to eat on a schedule. And if you want to know more about what foods you should be eating, you should check other videos I'm going to share here with you so you know what you should be eating. If you have any questions, comments, or anything else that you want an advice about, please comment and share this video, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed the content offered here, then I know you will enjoy these books. These are great tools to lead you to successful weight loss, better health, and greater happiness.